this is Pumpkin Jack. This is a 3D platformer with some brawling elements, and it's actually absolutely fantastic. I had a great time with it. We're on Xbox One X. I don't really have details on whether it's enhanced or not, but the game just looks absolutely fantastic. I love the visual aesthetics of the experience. It's colorful, it's vibrant, it's grim, it's weird, and it's just a really, really great game. So this just has the campaign to it, but don't worry, the campaign is actually fairly lengthy and decently challenging. It may seem fairly easy off the bat, but once the mechanics start growing and things start changing, there's a good amount of challenge to this one. And every level is a little bit different. So there isn't, a number of levels. There's like a decent selection of them. But each of them takes, about half an hour or so to work through. So you do actually get a really good campaign length, at least in my opinion, gameplay-wise. I was even left really wanting a sequel or even wanting more content to keep jumping into this one because I was having such a good time. That being said, I really felt that this was the right length in regards to the puzzles, the formula, and the format of what this experience provided, which was a really cool narrative-driven adventure with this absolutely really charming and weird protagonist that just really is evil to a degree, I guess you could say. It depends on the perspective, of course, right? In this epic battle of good versus evil. Anyways, moving past these story elements, which are told through these really nice kind of story cinematics between levels. You got this really great game with every level kind of feeling distinct. It hits the same sort of gameplay beats each time around, but they do things differently. So there's all these different sequences within the game, and I show it at the beginning some of the middle to late game kind of level content, nothing spoilerish. And from here on out, it's all just going to be really the first level or so of the game, as not to really spoil the experience for you when you are jumping into this. So in the game, you are either platforming around, jumping in the regular 3D space, or you're going into these vehicle-like segments. So you're seeing there, that is the karting one. There's one where you're riding a horse, another where you're going on these like cart-like things, battling others. They're really different and they vary each level. And you usually get like a couple, kind of cracks at it in regards to having it come up a couple times, which totally fit in and makes sense for the type of mechanic. Now, I would have liked to see some checkpoints during those segments because they could be a little bit long, but I did think it was generally fair as being a bit of a challenging part of the experience, which is fine. I also think this is something that any audience type could enjoy in regards to playing this and completing it without having too much difficulty, and also having a really good time, which I think is important. The game itself is just really fun. They really did a great job with this one. I'm very pleased, from the gameplay mechanics to the visuals. It may not seem like necessarily the most complex of experiences, but it's got cool weapon sets, and you're unlocking different weapons at every level too that you can switch between. You get like kind of guns, you get more stabby pointy things, a cool scythe. There's all these different options, and then you're moving through this like gorgeous environment, hacking, slashing, doing jump attack moves, kind of rolling to dodge, platforming, and you just experience this really great looking environment. I mean, I don't know if you're looking at the smaller details here, but you don't notice any like rendering or anything in the distance. It all just plays very smoothly and it looks really cool. It definitely reminds me of the classic 3D platformers from back in the day, the type of experiences we really don't get anymore. I mean, I think we're starting to see a little bit of a resurgence, but yeah, this game just definitely hits the mark in being something where, again, you're feeling the gameplay beats kind of come over and over again across the levels, but they're changing every time that you're experiencing them in regards to the challenge and what the goal is by the end of it. You get more segments where it's like, oh, we're just platform here. You get other ones where they're more combat based. You may be pushing a cart into an area in order to blow it up. You might be going into a creepy tomb, dodging traps. There's always a boss fight at the end of every level, which is engaging. They're similar, but, a little bit different in regards to their challenge, and I think that's kind of well done. It's just a really fun, well done game. I was pleasantly surprised and almost blown away by it. At the beginning, I was like, oh, okay, so-so, it's good, it's fun. But as I kept playing, I was like, wow, this is a really engaging and cool game. And again, talking about like the atmospheric elements of it, I love the look of the environments, but I should quickly talk about this. There are some puzzle-based segments where you get to plop off your head to kind of solve things. So this one's about moving crates, hitting switches. Other ones include doing musical beat sequences. There's a surprising amount of musical content in this one, which I thought was a little fun and charming. They definitely do some silly things in it. But other than that, sometimes you're like throwing presents, which would surprise you in regards to where that comes up. And other times you're solving other things, just little fun puzzle segments. But yeah, like I was saying, atmosphere-wise, I think this game absolutely hits the mark. It's really, really cool. It's a lot of fun. It looks so neat and creepy. And I love that it embraces that, I guess you could say, light horror element in regards to being Halloween themed for the most part, and not being something that is like too grim or dark, if you get what I'm trying to get across here, with again going back to that feedback loop of, you know, this is something that any type of audience can jump in and actually have a good time playing. And I stand by that because I think it's kind of a fun thing that deserves people checking it out, because it is just so well done. You can tell that there was a lot of love put into this game by the developer. I was just really blown away by this in terms of the scale of it, the look of the game, how it plays, the cool character, the lead character, the darker twists that do kind of show up as you progress narrative-wise. It's just, this is really well done. You know, you get these action sequences, and I'm blown away how much they were able to vary what they're doing. A lot of games like this, they kind of just keep the same feedback loop of gameplay, and they don't really evolve it or change it, whereas this time, like this game, every single level they're trying to like change things up, present different types of enemies, little bits of new challenge, and I think they do a wonderful job of allowing you to get into this perspective of this, you know, almost terrifying type of creature character. And then on top of that, if you don't like your design, I know you maybe saw those earlier, you can be unlocking these collectibles. So the game has lots of little hidden things that you can find, including these like gramophone type things, little musical things. I think we showed a little bit of that off. There's also, wow, I'm doing horrible at this part right here. There's also these crow beaks, so you either get those by completing these sort of battle sequences or finding them kind of off the path on a map, and you get so many of them per level. There's achievements tied to that too if you're interested in that sort of thing. Just thought I'd mention for doing it every level. But when you get the crows, you actually can unlock by, you know, the in-game store. You can buy these cool outfits that you can use with your character. Usually even you get them right from the menu, or you can also get them from a trader during the actual game experience if you run across them. And you've got like a cool little group of friends with you, which I think is nice. Your bird pal there. It just has some neat mechanics, well done gameplay, and it's something that's really quite engaging. I just had a lot of fun. It's so impressively well done. I'm just so surprised by it. Really, that's the thing. I didn't expect this level of quality. I didn't expect to have this much gameplay, and I didn't expect to have this much fun with it. And again, having a little bit of a challenge where I'm like, a little frustrated, but I'm working towards this. And having moments where it's like, okay, I feel like I've really got a grasp on the gameplay mechanics of what I'm doing. I feel confident in it. It just kind of hits the mark in all those ways. And as you progress, you know, you get access to all these different tools and weapons, and you can use those to your advantage. You can switch between them. I didn't really necessarily feel a need to, because, you know, you get a new weapon, you want to try it out. But you can if you find a situation calls for like a, you know, shotgun or a scythe. You can throw those on if you want at any point, which is really quite neat. And then you're just battling, you know, not only the various enemies you have to deal with, you gotta deal with platforming, and you also gotta battle the bosses, which were varied to a high degree. There was just so many different options and challenges at the end of every level. I thought that was just fun, and I'm surprised by the length of every level too. I just wasn't anticipating such, you know, such length to them. It was really quite impressive, and while it might seem like there's not a whole lot of levels, you get your value out of them, and you get some pretty cool moments like that one where the character just shines. I think if you're on PC, they've also got like ray tracing to a degree. This game would look insane on there. Really, really would look cool. And I mean, not to say it doesn't here, because it totally does. I mean, just take a look even at the backdrop, the use of like color throughout the game. You get like deep purples, mystic greens, swampy looks. It's just always different and unique and always fresh. Every level you go into, the atmosphere, the style of it, sometimes it's like a snow type level, sometimes it's more swampy, you know, a farm type level, more of a city. You're just going through all these different areas, and it's generally just a really impressive effort that I was more than blown away by it. But I hope you enjoy this boss battle here and this look at Pumpkin Jack, which I thoroughly had a good time with, and I definitely do suggest giving it a whirl. I mean, this was absolutely a lot of fun and a good challenge and a also unique and long-lasting sort of experience. I'll definitely remember this one for a while down the road, and I want more, whether that's in some sort of expansion DLC or something, or, you know, an extra like sequel game or something. I really want to see more of this experience, and I think they could actually really pull off a number of other 3D platforming games very well with the talent shown here.